Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Spirit Hunter Deathmark on PC. Okay, so I just got home. I knew it was you. Mary's voice is soft. I know now. Behind those words is hidden an intense lust for blood. You came back to life rather quickly. You gave me nearly a whole day, more than enough time. I admit that Rabbit's attack surprised me, but unexpected events can themselves be rather enjoyable. When I had brought Mary to H-Shrine, we caught sight of the rabbit there. It might have suspected Mary's true nature. That rabbit. Its great love for you pushed it into recklessness. What was that rabbit, really? Determine that for yourself. Who are you? Know that, and the answer will come. Though it is impossible so long as you bear the mark I gave you. Mary gave me the mark. I had a hunch, but hearing it from her lips fills me with dread. Just what are you trying to accomplish? Dragging the living to the depths of despair before killing them. I believe I explained that it is a spirit's utmost desire and joy. And I had your cooperation with achieving that. Cooperate? That's ridiculous. Oh, have you not realized yet? You did bring those pathetic mark bearers directly to the spirits, did you not? They feared the spirit's existence, trembled in the face of death. I savored the taste of that fear and despair, most delicious. You had all of us help out, just to terrify the mark bearers even more? Clearly. I could have waited for the curses to complete, if only I wanted them dead. That is not the only lie. Mark bearers must stay in small groups, do not contact outsiders. All my instructions were to drive you into a state of emergency. And not once did you doubt me. I bet she's telling me all of this because she wants me terrified with how hopeless the situation I find myself in is. I'm frozen in place, and I know my face must be as pale as death. She must be loving this. Don't tell me you created all those spirits just to accomplish that. Indeed. When Lady Christie believed divine wrath was the cause of the mark, I had never been more amused. Her foolishness was so delightful, I just had to come along with you. So you lied. Of course. How could a pile of broken statues possibly do anything? I could be imagining it, but I feel like she's hesitated for a moment there. 50 years ago, I was sealed away by the head of the Kuja family. I woke here 5 years ago. At the time, I was still unable to speak and communicate. But it seemed my awakening alone caused a number of ripples. Those who died unfortunate deaths on cursed land became monstrous spirits. The H elementary abuse, the honeybee mass suicide, Seiko assault and suicide. That all happened 5 years ago. I finally regained my full power a little over a month ago. Then the Buddha statue connected to me 50 years ago began moving. The woman killed by the statue was also influenced by my power. That must be the cannon soldier and Tsakawa. Tsakawa believed it was a divine oracle from the soldier when it really had been Mary. She did as the great Asura said and transformed herself into Miss Zu. Once my strength returned, I again bestowed my power on spirits. It connects humans to me and manipulates them into a panic. The mark. I know you've been toying with us, but, well, was there really need to make us be connected to you in some way? Of course. By being in direct contact with you, I could taste your fear. Even now. Are you scared of me, Lord Yashiki? Well, not at this point I'm not. No. Very admirable. Her porcelain face cracks. Ever since you declared that you would fight the mark, I have waited eagerly for this day. Over the past 10 days, I have tasted your fear through the mark. thick and syrupy, as sweet as honey. Each savored morsel made me want to smash you to pieces. But I waited. I'm not so foolish as to kill a goose that lays golden eggs. But I cannot take it anymore. Like crushing a ripe fruit and sipping its juices, I want to break you down and savor your sweet fear. Marcus died deep crimson. A few minutes left until death closes in. My thoughts blur together suddenly. What happens to a mark bearer right before dawn? I've seen it many times. Is that what's happening to me now? No, Jashki, wait for me. I'll kill. I can hear Mary stand up over by the sofa. At this rate, the rabbit's fate will be mine too. I have to run away. Check within the red in my room. Oh, is Saya talking to me? Something whispers in my ear. That's right, that voice. But what does my room mean? Focus. Who does that voice belong to? Yasuka, she said it was someone who loved me. How much soul power do I have? Mary's coming closer. Where should I run? Oh, okay, good. I have some left over. Let's go to Saya's room. I sprint at full speed up the stairs and fly into Saya's room. Much like the entrance hall, it's dark. The voice said, check within the red in my room. Is something there? But where should I look? Check her blood, I guess. It's on the floor. Sayakuja's bloodstain is still on the floor. It's obviously dry by this point in time. There might be something lying on top of it. I can't be sure as it's too dark. Nothing was there the last time I was here. Picking it up, I discover that it's a small pouch. Inside is a hard, thin object. I move over to the moonlight to see it better. It's a small Buddha statue. It can't be. Is this the Nijibitsu? It seems to be stained with blood, and I get an ominous feeling from it. The impurity. It hasn't been exorcised yet. I instinctively know the instant I see it. My mind is suddenly flooded with all of my memories of the Nijibitsu, one after another. 50 years ago, the head of the Kujo family used this to seal Mary's power. He put the Nijibitsu inside her to seal her. Then, about a month ago, someone took it out. That person was me. Because of that, Mary regained her powers. The Nijibitsu in my hand looks exactly as it did back then, full of impurity. Impurity that's built up from sealing Mary's power for 50 years. To cleanse it, I left the Nijibitsu at the uncontaminated H shrine. It would take time to exorcise all of the impurity. It's already July, the summer purification rite is over. So why is it still impure? The object the rabbit had in its mouth. It could have been carrying the pouch then instead of the master key. Then the Nijibitsu was taken away from the H shrine before the beginning of July. Maybe the rabbit saw Mary by the shrine and was scared that she would find it. So it had no choice but to steal it away. The door to the adjacent room opens. Mary must be looking for me. But she can sense the presence of mark bearers. What's going on? Wait, is it possible that Saya's blood is protecting me? Bring it to where I met my end. The voice whispers in my ear again. If this isn't where the voice Voice's owner died, they must have met their end elsewhere. There's only one other place. While Mary's in the room next door, I sprint down to the entrance hall. I make a beeline to Mary's sofa and the spot where the rabbit died. The voice that spoke to me and helped me every time a spirit was closing in. If Saya was working through anything, it must have been that rabbit. Sensing something, I look down at my hand. The Nejibitsu's impurity is gone. Is this what you've been telling me, Saya? I speak to the departed woman who's guided me as I struggle without memories. Put the Nejibitsu, the source of the doll's curse. Press it to the black mark. Then the whispers stop. The floorboards creak ominously. I raise my head to the staircase, rising to the darkness before me. A dark figure stands on the landing. I found you. The mark scorches me. My head goes blank. Mary's coming closer. My body won't listen to me. Lord Yashki. Mary closes her hands around my neck. She's trying to kill me. I squeeze the Nejibitsu and the fog that's impending my thoughts lift. It's still a struggle to think. I should be able to move my arm now. Put the Nejibitsu on the source of the curse. I only have one chance. Where should I stick the Nejibitsu? Well, it's in my right arm, or so, yeah. Why would you put it there? I managed to drag my impossibly heavy arm and stick the Nejibitsu on Mary's right arm. She's hiding it. Yeah, that's right. That's where her tattoo is. But I'm sure that's where the black mark was. Marks bloom on Mary, one after another. They're all the color of blood. It's like they're the curses of those she killed. Mary shadows into dust. Did I really do it? I hesitantly look down at my right arm. The mark is gone. Did it? I finally did it. I have to say it out loud to convince myself. A victory at the expense of Saya's life. I can't claim it's completely over, but there's no harm being relieved for now. The fog clouding my head clears away. My memories slowly return to me. I look around the dimly lit hall again. I know this mansion well, because I'm... The clock on the second floor begins chiming wildly like it did 10 days ago. When I make my way to the top, or when I make my way to it, it stops. Almost as if it had a will of its own. That's right, this grandfather clock. I think a skilled ancestor of the Kuja family crafted it. That one chisel may have been used to make it. That's right, inside this clock. I open the door and stick my hand inside. My fingers brush something hard. Taking it out, I realize it's a voice recorder. I press the play button. It's a man's voice, a voice I know all too well. It's my voice. I decided to leave this record behind in case something should happen. That doll may dispose of any files or documents. I'm banking on her overlooking a piece of technology. As I listen, I start to remember recording this. I'd done it right before I received the mark from Mary. Now, where should I begin? It started 5 years ago, 2 years after I became Kujo family head. My sister Saya and I found the doll in a wood box while sorting the warehouse. The moment I broke the seal and saw her, I could sense something sinister. But it took a while longer to fully understand what she truly is. If only there had been records. But great-grandfather, who sealed her, didn't leave any before his early death. Because of that, his descendants weren't told about the doll. I managed to learn the doll had been loaned to an army lab during the war. A strange old man who lived in an underground shelter told me. Then I went overseas to try to get more information on the doll. But I got into an accident while away and was presumed missing. So Saya became the new family head. I wasn't able to contact her until after she had inherited the title. It wasn't something worth contesting. So I explained everything and had her keep up the facade that I was missing. Public records still stated Masamune Kujo was very much alive, of course. I couldn't have used my passport or license otherwise. I'm off topic, sorry. I only just returned to the country last week. Other psychics abroad all agreed it would be bad to leave the doll be. A ninjutsu inside the doll still suppressed its cursed power, but I realized that it was almost at its limit. If I left it alone, it would crumble. Then it'd be impossible to suppress the cursed power of the doll. That was worst case scenario. But what was to be done? The answer I came up with was to remove the ninjutsu from the doll temporarily. Its impurity would be cleansed after a month stored in a pure area, and then I'll place it back in the doll. If I succeed, the doll's power will be sealed for a few more decades. But the problem is that 1 month. I have no idea what kind of curse will be released when the doll's unsealed. I'll do what I can to prevent the disasters. But my power can't compare to the ninjutsu. I can't guarantee anything. There may be victims again, like the tragedy 50 years ago. But this is a necessary evil. It must be done in order to prevent even more people from falling victim. After this, I'll disassemble the doll and remove the ninjutsu. I pray everything goes according to plan and the worst of evils is avoided. I hope this record isn't needed. But if the one listening to this has a loved one who's fallen victim to the curse, then I'm very sorry. The recording ends there. Damn it. I clench my fist so hard, my nails dig into my palms. Yes, the voice on the tape was mine, but I'm furious with it. I don't know that person at all. The mark has claimed so many victims over the past month. I even lost my little sister, Saya. Was she just another inevitable victim that the voice spoke of? I guess it had to be done. It had to be done. I'm Kazuo Yashiki, but I'm also Masamune Kujo. I understand why he felt as if he had to do that. It was his fate. The Kujo family are forever linked to that cursed doll. Chapter 5, Cannon Soldier, End. Two months have passed. The occasional cool breeze signals that summer is almost over. I've spent my time putting the case of the mark to rest as best I can. I put Saya to rest by burying the rabbit and contacted the surviving mark bearers. Putting the Buddha statues in places of honor was also one of those tasks. They weren't connected to the mark after all, but I couldn't just leave them there. Plus, there's no way Christie'd keep quiet about the statues. So, with her guidance, and Yasuka, Diamond, and Banshee's help, I carried the broken statues out of the shelter and returned them to H Shrine. By now, my memory has completely returned. Things didn't quite go as originally planned, but at least the danger has passed. I don't think my decision as Masamune Kujo was wrong, but at times waves of powerlessness and despondency overwhelm me. When I think of the victims of the mark, and of Saya in particular, my chest hurts. I want to do something for them as the new head of the Kujo family. About the memories I've regained. I became the Kujo family head 7 years ago. I'll admit I was a bit of a recluse. I left the public appearance to Saya, preferring to stay out of the spotlight. The only photos of me are from small local newspapers. I uncovered Mary by accident in the family's warehouse 5 years ago. It was a discovery that changed my life. I traveled extensively abroad in order to learn more about Mary. In one country, I got into an accident and fell into a coma for half a year. Even worse, that country proceeded to treat me as an unidentified traveler. I don't know if that was merely my terrible luck or if Mary's curse had something to do with it. When I was finally able to contact home, Saya had already become the new head. The rest was as the tape said. I had no idea that Mary's power was far greater than I had imagined. All of my efforts to suppress her power were completely useless. My memories unraveled faster than I thought. How did Mary come to be in the first place? One theory says a doll maker in the 19th century used magic to create her. Another says the spirit of a young girl who died prematurely took up residence in the doll. In the end, it's still a mystery. No one knows what happened to create a doll like that. We only know that each of Mary's owners died tragic deaths. Shortly after the turn of the 20th century, she came to be owned by the head of the Kujos. He either didn't know of the curse or simply didn't believe it. Disasters began befalling the family. Mary gained enough power to become sentient and produce spirits. Then the tragedy in the shelter happened. Then seething grudges of the experiment's victims and the Buddha statues. They may have triggered her awakening. Whatever Mary's true identity is, the fact remains she's altered many people's fates. Mine and the mark bearers included. Speaking of, an update on the surviving mark bearers. Mo Watanabe became a part-time writer for her favorite magazine, Hoop Arts Monthly. She sometimes comes to Kujo Mansion to interview me about spirits and ghosts. Saka Yoshida is studying every day for the middle school exams next year. He bragged in his letter to me about how well he did in the national mock tests. Satoru Mashita bought me a drink, like he promised. Seems he's thinking about becoming a private detective. He actually asked me if I wanted to join him. Was he serious? I don't know for sure. Sho Nagishima is picking fights, riding his bike and doing whatever he wants as usual. But recently, out of the blue, I heard he's joined his neighborhood's baseball team. Christy Aramura has started writing an essay exposing all of her past affairs. She's trying to get back into the industry. Suzu Morimiya was able to see her father. Lately, she started asking me for advice about how to get her parents to reconcile. I have no idea if it helped at all, but she says they sometimes have meals together now. Eita Nakamitsu has gone back to surfing the BBS every day as usual. But what's new is he's been stopping by the city employment center. I guess he wants to get a steady job and be a role model for Suzu. Huh, best of luck to him. A day doesn't go by that I don't see Ai Kashiwagi on the TV as part of Love and Hero. She sent a ticket like she promised, but I need to drum up some courage to go to a concert for teens, alone, at my age. Taoko Yasuko is still working as a fortune teller in Ginza. Apparently she believes I have spiritual powers or something. She kept sending me customers with spirit problems to the mansion. I wish she'd stop. Madoka Hiru spends her days working as a researcher while also visiting the shelter. Her and Banshee squabble a lot, but I wish she'd stop complaining to me about it. Chuchu Diamond seems to be doing better now, like a weight's been lifted off his chest. He's in the process of convincing officials to publicize the shelter and build a memorial for it. Banshee Itu has returned to his beloved underground shelter. He stops by the mansion sometimes, filling the place with his scent. Of course, he comes to beg me for food. Now then. I finish my break and return to the workbench in the corner of the room. Over the past 2 months, Mary has managed to repair herself. Her power hasn't completely come back yet, but she's still extremely frightening. The Nejmitsu alone won't be enough to continue sealing her powers in the years to come. I must prepare extra spiritual measures. It's taking a long time to get those ready, but today I finally finished. Once everything is complete, I replace the Nejmitsu inside Mary. Finally, it's over. I pick Mary up and put her in a wooden box. 5 years. This all started when I opened the lid of this box. Mary stares up at me from the depths of the box. I have no idea if she's aware of what's happening right now. But there's no doubt she'll regain her powers when the Nejmitsu wears out decades from now. I'm determined to find a way to destroy this cursed doll before that happens. Until that day. You need to stay asleep, Mary. All right. I got to the end. I've been playing this for a while now. I mean, off and on. Probably could have finished it in a week if I would have spent time straight playing it. Anyway, that was it. This is audap for you. You have been watching Spirit Hunter Deathmark on PC. I thought that's a really good game. I hope everybody enjoyed watching, and I will see you at the next stream.